Which of the following is not a quadratic function? So in order to determine what a quadratic function, or which of these is not a quadratic function, it's helpful to know what a quadratic function is. A quadratic function in standard form has the following notation: having some leading coefficient of a multiplied then by x squared plus some coefficient of b multiplied by x plus then some coefficient of c, all right, with no x term. Now, what's most important, there is one term out of here that is really most important, and that would be this. All right, this term is essential for a function to be a quadratic function. In other words, we need an x squared term. All right, now you cannot have it being higher than x squared. If you had something like x cubed, that's a cubic, no longer a quadratic. And if you didn't have any x squared term, if the highest power of x was a 1, right after you kind of maybe had to factor some stuff, or maybe you had to FOIL some stuff, or you might have to rearrange it. It might not be apparent at the start. But if you don't have an x squared term at all, after you do maybe some manipulation, then it's also not a quadratic. It would be a linear function. All right. So our job now is to try and figure out which is not a quadratic function. Okay. So in my first choice, I notice that I have a x term and I have an x squared term. So this is looking actually very good. Now remember, the difference between this right now and this is that the standard form also includes a c value, a constant with no x, and this doesn't, but that's okay. The most important term is this, and we don't have any power higher than x squared, so this so far checks out. So that's good. Next choice, we have 24 minus x squared. Now in this case, we are slightly different from the standard form, right? There is no bx term. So this is missing a bx term, no big deal. That's the most important term. That's fine. In our third choice here, we have an x squared. Now, both the bx and the c are missing. No big deal, though. This is the most important term, so that's actually quadratic. Last but not least, our last choice here, I notice I have an x cubed term. There's really nothing I can kind of do, once you actually, I wouldn't even think about manipulating this. Once you see x cubed, there's no way. Anything higher than x squared, it's not going to be a quadratic unless you were able to, let's say, do some simplification, okay? Which I'm sure there's going to be some harder problems coming up, which I would highly encourage you to give a shot to. So out of all four of these choices, this one would be the example of not a quadratic function. So listen, if you liked what you saw here, please check out our website, glazersguide.com. We got thousands of practice problems just for you, and we're there every step of the way. We'd love to help you through your coursework. See you there.
For more practice and for more fun, go to glazersguide.com.
And for more practice and for more fun, come on, go to glazersguide.com.